Welcome into another episode of the Lazy Bros Podcast. We're your hosts, Logan and Luke Lazarchik. We have a Thursday night recap from last night's game, Lions and Packers. We watched the game together last night. Pretty enjoyable game. The first half was pretty slow. Before the second half, the first half there were multiple possessions that took, 5-6 minutes. I know there was a possession in the beginning of the second quarter where the Packers took like 8 minutes off the clock, and I think they ran about 10 plays before they actually threw the ball. And of course, we have the fourth down conversion. Dan Campbell going for it. It's seemingly on every fourth down chance and opportunity he had. Did you have any issues with those fourth down conversions? And is that something that, Lions, last year in the NFC title game, that kind of cost them being over aggressive?
It's who they are. And if you don't want to go away from who you are. I think that criticism of him going for it, I think the last one, even though it worked out, I still think it was the wrong call. Mm-hmm. But he kind of said something about same message, the offense wants to win it. But so I still think it was the wrong call, but I love MCDC. So it's not like he can do no wrong, but he can do very little wrong. But I don't agree with the call, but it worked out. If you're in a playoff game, same situation, if you do that, oh my gosh. I think playoffs, I don't think he does that. I think regular season, he's like, you know what? Let's just send the Packers home, basically ruin their chances of the division, and let's just punch them in the mouth. And that's what they did. And, you gotta love it. I think the game was awesome. One of the best games of the year, and it was on a Thursday night, so that's awesome.
Yeah, most of the time Thursday night games are kind of choppy, kind of throwaway games because teams have not that much time to prepare, so you don't get a good of a product as you usually get, normally. When you say that he wouldn't go for it in the playoffs, but he would last night, I disagree with that. We saw last year he went for it in the playoffs. I know.
I'm saying in the last one.
Yeah.
I think all the other ones, but the last one, I don't think he does that in the playoffs.
I do agree with you that I did not agree with the last fourth down conversion call. And like you said, it worked out. But Jared Goff stumbled out of the snap, and imagine if he as soon as I saw that, I pretty much thought that the play was going to get blown up because the Packers all night were stuffing the run, and I thought once Jared Goff kind of lost balance, I didn't think it was going to be a clean handoff, and he still managed to get the handoff to David Montgomery. This game, it was a really weird game if you just look at the stat line. If you didn't watch this game and you look at the stat line, it would not Jordan Love was 12-20 for I think 206 yards and a touchdown, and I don't think it really vindicates how well he actually played last night.
He was great.
He had 7 passing attempts in the first half. I think he was 3 of 7 in the first half, for 31 yards or something like that. I think he was really good last night. I was kind of perplexed why Jaden Reed wasn't playing. I don't know if he was in the doghouse or because Dontavian Wicks was getting extended snaps. It seemed like he was taking over the Jaden Reed role a little bit. I think, and also the Lions also had 12 minutes more of possession. They ran 31 more plays. I think a lot of that also goes to the fact that they pretty much spotted the Packers 14 points in the second half with the turnover on downs, with the Jahmyr Gibbs play, and then the interception that Jared Goff threw. So it was a really interesting game. And I'm even looking at third down conversion stats. Packers only had 5 third downs all night, and the Lions had 15. So it's just it kind of shows how explosive the Packers can be because they really didn't run that many plays and they really didn't have a chance offensively to go on long drives.
To me, it showed that, look at the Detroit's top players, top offensive producers this year, weapons. Montgomery, 14 carries, 51 yards. He did have 33 receiving yards. Gibbs, 15 carries, 43 yards. They averaged 3-something a carry combined. Amon-Ra, 5 catches, 43 yards, and 15 of that came on one of the final plays. So Lions were able to put up over 30 points with their top 3 producers putting up I'm trying to just do the math. They still put up a good amount of yards, but not efficiently. J-Mo had a good game, 5 for 80. Laporta had a good game, 554. Tim Patrick had 43 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Lions are so good. I just think they're the best team. This game, and they're so hurt. They lost. Okay, no one mentioned it. They lost McNeil, and he's honestly probably their most important defender in this game because of Josh Jacobs. They lost McNeil like first play. They're so good.
And Brian Branch, he also went down the late
he was
fourth
dealing with
or
cramping,
early fourth quarter, and I don't know if he even came back for the rest of the game after he was dealing with those cramps.
They're so good.
And that's the thing. The Lions is they can beat you in the run, they can beat you in the pass, and if one of them's not working, they'll just go to the other. And like last night, the run game really wasn't working. In the pass game, I mean, Jared Goff I think he almost threw for 300 yards, but the first half he was pretty slow.
Yeah,
but they have so many avenues that they can attack you with, and like the Packers, I thought did a great job of actually stopping the run last night. I mean, like you said, Gibbs, I think 15 to 43. I mean, that's less than 3 a carry. He did have 30 yards on 6 catches. Montgomery did some damage to the air, but like they really shut down the Lions. And Lions, they predicate on the run game, and if they get that going, they're pretty hard to stop. The only weakness really offensively is Jared Goff when he gets pressured. But like if you keep him upright and you give him a clean pocket, he's going to dissect the defense. So
the
Lions. What'd you say? Sorry.
We just say that about Goff all the time, but it's not like. And they
were
without Decker as well. And you got sacked once, threw for 283 against good defense.
Yeah, the Lions to me are the most complete team of football. Now, I do think they went for that last fourth down because the defense is pretty. I mean, there's injuries all over the defense. And I think they have 18 players on IR, which is the most in the league right now. I think that was part of the thought process for Dan Campbell was let's just get the first down and let's make sure that we don't give the ball back to the Packers with a chance to tie the game and potentially win. And I know Packers had no timeouts, and then there have been like 40 seconds on the clock. But the way that game was going, no team was stopping the other one.
No, and like the Packers also were really good, but they had so much going for them, and it's not even their fault. Like I just think the Lions are that good. I mean, yeah. Also, Decker was out. I mean, Lions are missed so many people. I loved how they just blitzed the hell out of it to start the game. And just like, hey, we just Quan Alexander, Jamal Adams are playing. We're just blitzing. And it worked, but then Green Bay figured it out. LaFleur's doing a great job. I mean, I still think Packers are the second best team in the NFC. And
they definitely match up. Like if you gave me like Philly or Green Bay clearly matchups better with Lions just because of familiarity, and I think they have the quarterback and the coach to actually take advantage of Lions' downfall in defense at this point because of the injuries. I don't trust the Eagles. I don't trust them coaching-wise, and I don't trust Jalen Hurts.
Also, Jordan Love, I think, remember as a while ago, I made my QB list, and I had him at 13. Yeah, he's all the way up to 7. And so I'd have him behind Mahomes, Allen, Lamar, Burrow, Herbert, Stroud. But I'm going to give Stroud some benefit of the doubt because I don't, just because Stroud's not playing well doesn't mean you just, push him to 12 because I think we know how good Stroud is, even though it is second season. But Love and Stroud are right there. And you could make an argument Love is better than Stroud. And the Packers are legit. The Packers are so good. And I still don't think it matters. I think this is the NFC Championship game. And I think the Lions win again. They're so good.
Yeah, I don't think there's a chance that the Packers slip to 7. Now, if they do that, I think that spells trouble for Philadelphia because I would actually take Packers.
Oh, that'd be such a fun. I mean, they play Seattle this upcoming week. I think we both like Green Bay in that one. We usually make our picks the week before, so we won't be making our pick now, of course. But I think Josh Jacobs, once McNeil went out, you kind of saw that run game open up for the Packers. He's been a great addition. Their depth of weaponry is really good. Christian Watson was actually the standout receiver. He's usually the one that's of hit or miss. He did fumble. I think that was a great play by the Lions defender that punched it out, though, because he was on his way down to the ground, and the Lions player had the awareness to punch it out. I think the Packers, if they're clicking, like you said, I think they're the second best team in the NFC. But the Lions, to me, have everything you want. And right now, the defense is probably the biggest weakness because of the injuries, which that wasn't when the year started, they had Aiden Hutchinson. Their pass rush was good, but Zadarius Smith should step in, be good. I really don't have any question marks about the Lions. And that's why I was so confident Detroit this year was the fact that they have so many players that they can go to
in certain.
And there's a
certain moments.
chance they're not the 1 seed, like a solid chance, because Philly's schedule is kind of nice. Because if you lose Carolina, you shouldn't. I don't care how good Bryce is playing. Pittsburgh, I have no idea what to think of that game in 2 weeks.
Is that their toughest game remaining? The Pittsburgh game.
Well, then they face Washington, so yeah, I think Pittsburgh, because then it's Cowboys Giants, so it's Pittsburgh and Lions, who have now beat the Packers twice. They beat Minnesota, they beat Houston, they beat Arizona, beat the Rams. They still have Buffalo, Chicago, who just tested them, San Fran, who we have no idea, and then Minnesota again. So they could be like the 2 seed, and that'd be nuts.
If they
but
beat
I'd
the
still
Bills,
take 'em.
though, I'll like
Yeah,
if they beat the Bills, do they lose another game this year? And I know like that's kind of tough to say right now because everybody's.
If they
different
beat the
matchups.
Bills, I would think they go 16-1.
Now at
That's gonna
Chicago,
be
it's
such
tough.
a good
Jared
game.
Goff and cold weather kind of struggles, but like we said, they can just lean on the run game, and Chicago's a really bad run defense. So like, and San Fran at that point, maybe they may have already waved the white flag at that point. I think like right now, I was looking at the 49ers injury report today. Nick Bosa didn't practice. Trent Williams didn't practice. Aaron Banks didn't practice.
But I'm just saying you never know with the Niners.
Well, you never know. But I'm saying if they lose this week, I mean, you may be able to pencil that game as a win just based on the fact that 49ers may be already given up at that point. But I don't know. The Lions, to me, I mean, they're my preseason Super Bowl pick out of the NFC. I just think right now, I mean, you may see a different style. Like early in the year, they kind of were bullying people, not scoring as much, and now maybe they have to lean on the offense more and actually score and win, barn burners going forward because there's just too many question marks on defense at this point. But
I mean, we're still looking at it. I mean, past 4 weeks allowed 6, allowed 20 when a lot of it was late, and then allowed 31 to one of the best teams in football. So I don't think they're gonna have to get in these. I mean, Buffalo may be a barn burner, but again, you're facing the MVP, so I don't think they're necessarily.
Or not barn burns, but the last 2 weeks have been decided by 3 points each. So I'm just saying,
I know, but
tighter competition.
the Bears didn't score a single point in the first half, and Caleb had a really good second half, but they didn't score a single point in the first half.
The Packers, I think, I'm not gonna like be concerned over the Packers. I still think like their schedule, they have Seattle coming up. I still think they should play Chicago and Minnesota again this year. But I'm not concerned. Like even if they don't win the division, which at this point is they're not going to. They have 2 losses to Detroit. Now they're 3 games behind Detroit. But I think I would pick them in any of the wildcard games, no matter who they're facing. Unless like if they're the 5 seed, they would go up against Atlanta or Tampa. And then if they're the 6 seed, they probably go up against Seattle, Arizona, or the Rams. And I probably take them over all those teams, no matter who their opponent is. Like I'm not too worried about Green Bay, and their defense played well, or they're a solid defense. They didn't have Jair Alexander last night, and I think Josh Jacobs is such a good addition to this offense. I mean, Aaron Jones, he didn't really have that physical runner. I mean, Josh Jacobs had 3 touchdowns last night, and once McNeil went out, he kind of took control of that game.
Yeah, I think McNeil's so good. And that was a big part. If McNeil doesn't get hurt, I think Lions win that like by 10 points. Like maybe that's a lot, but the run game.
I mean, they were up 10-0 and up 17-7. Like if he doesn't get hurt, and he got hurt like on second play of the game.
He got hurt early, and he's one of the best interior D linemen in football. And him and Reeder. I mean, let's say it's the NFC title game just against whoever, and Zadarius, Reeder, McNeil, and Hutchinson comes back.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's a pretty good front 4 right there.
And I know, and I think he's going to come back by title game. I do, because they're saying Super Bowl. I think he's going to be like, you know what, I can make it to the title game. This is one of the best athletes. Get a Super Bowl.
I don't want to say the injury was a blessing in disguise at all because it's a terrible injury, and you don't want to see that. But would they have Zadarius Smith right now if Hutchinson never got hurt?
I think so, because they weren't getting another edge rusher helping out. So I think they still would have.
Okay. Because I still know if they really, I was on like if they made that move because Hutchinson got hurt and they just needed.
Who knows? But
pressure off
I
the
think
edge.
they would have got him.
But yeah, if like Hutchinson's back by the NFC title game, because they're the 1 seed right now, they probably get Minnesota it'd be really interesting. And I was looking at the playoff picture earlier today. It's a very interesting playoff picture, especially on the NFC side. like I think I sent a text earlier to our group chat today. I would take the 5 and the 6 seed pretty easily
Yeah, I
in those
think
matchups if
that's
the matchup
yeah. The
started today.
NFC North is
And
amazing.
like, yeah, we could see Packers Lions second round, divisional round, which would be pretty interesting if that's how it played out. Because Green Bay would be the 6th seed. If they won, they would definitely play the Lions. Because I don't see Washington beating Eagles.
I mean, Green Bay could hypothetically still get the 5 seed.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, yeah. But even like so, it would be Minnesota at Seattle. Yeah, like I think the Lions are going to get Minnesota or Green Bay second round,
Mm-hmm.
which I think that's very interesting. Like a
Yeah,
divisional game in a divisional round.
well, we're probably gonna get Washington, Philly.
Yeah.
Which I want to see him play again, but gosh, I just don't think Washington matches up well with Philly right now.
Well, Washington, they also lost Eckler, who I think Eckler, the last time they played Philadelphia, was really big through the air. Like I think he had 80 receiving yards in that game. He's definitely not going to be playing against
80.
Eagles.
Oh
He's
my
out.
gosh, he was nuts.
He's out the rest of the regular season with being placed on IR with concussion. I don't really see Washington. They feel just like a one and done team to me.
Looking at it, it was 10-6 after 3 quarters. Washington was up. And then Philly went Saquon mode, and Saquon ran for a 23-yarder and a 39-yarder.
Yeah, Philadelphia didn't play well. That game was one of the worst. I mean, that was a Thursday night game. That was a bad game. Like that was almost unwatchable.
Yeah. But it'll be interesting.
I would like to see these two play in the NFC title game, though, the Packers and Lions. I think that would be third time around, and the Packers are getting healthier. It's interesting. I think, like, for me, the NFC, it's probably Lions, Packers, and Eagles.
Yeah.
Those are probably the only 3 teams I can see in the Super Bowl out of the NFC side. I don't really see anybody else coming out of the side. And the AFC side is probably Chiefs, Bills, and those 2 I think are the clear.
I'm still giving Ravens a shot. They have a shot. I'm not taking that out.
It'll be interesting because if they're right now, I think they're playing Pittsburgh, or they would be playing Pittsburgh. I mean, Pittsburgh has Lamar's number. So, and also, speaking of so going back to Green Bay Lions, the Packers seem to have Amon-Ra's number. He hasn't surpassed 57 receiving yards in the last 5 matchups, I believe, against the Packers. So they kind of have a good game plan for him, it seems like. So that's another thing. Like I think, but that just proves, like you were telling me last night, Jared Goff spread the ball around to. I think a lot of his receivers had 5 or 6 catches. Like it was pretty evenly dispersed across
if you look at it,
weapons.
So 7 players got targets, but Brock Wright got only 1 target. So all the players who got at least 5 targets, the other 6, all had at least 5 catches. He spread it around.
It just shows how
Jared
much.
Goff is really good. He's just slow. But if you get him
there's a play last night. I'm not sure if you remember. It was one he ran to his right and he picked up 9 yards. There was no defender.
Yeah,
like he could have easily picked. He's just not want to get hit.
He saw what happened to Trevor.
I mean,
he has
quarterbacks.
He has the front line. They'll get the first down. He's really good. I mean, I remember some people were like, "Do they pay him? What's going to happen? They pay him." I mean, that's such an obvious. If he's in a dome, he can outperform nearly anyone.
Well, yeah, and if they have home field advantage, he's going to be in a dome.
Yeah, exactly.
Essentially, this entire season, because I don't know. They play at Chicago. San Fran, I think, is in San Francisco, but that's warm weather. Minnesota, they'll be at home.
Buffalo's
at home. Like they don't play any throughout the entire year. They haven't. I think have they played in any outdoor games this year? Oh, they played in Green Bay, but is that the only one?
Tennessee. No, my bad.
No, Tennessee was in Detroit.
Yeah, my bad. Tampa, that was home.
No, Tampa was in.
Yeah, okay. Dallas is indoor. Minnesota's indoor. Green Bay was outdoor. Houston's indoor. Indy's indoor. Yeah, so it's just been Green Bay.
I mean, they got a great scheduling break for what they're like.
They're first in points scored per game, second in points allowed per game, first in time of possession, second in yards per game.
Yeah, is Montgomery and Gibbs are they the best running back tandem? Like, are they like? like
I think
I mean like if you think of like the history of the NFL, I know that's you kind of have to think about
was
it
it
for a while.
Marcus
But
Allen with Bo Jackson? I mean, Logan, there's definitely some other ones.
okay. But like these two are a perfect match to each other. Like it's definitely the best running back tandem in the league right now, I would say.
Back duos.
And there may be, but like I feel like they're at least top 10.
I'm just trying to see
tandem.
what else there was. Brandon Jacobs, Derek Ward, Ahmad Bradshaw was cool. Anything with some? Let's see. Just looking at some what I can find.
I think they're combined.
Um,
They have combined 23 rushing touchdowns this year, or like total touchdowns this year. Let me look real quick.
Fred Taylor and Maurice Jones-Drew were on the same team. Let's see what else. Alvin Kamara, Mark Ingram was quite good. They're very similar to that.
That's actually a very similar comp.
Is Gibbs better than Alvin Kamara? Alvin Kamara is still really good. Is Gibbs
Well, okay,
better
at that point.
No,
Let's
yeah.
say at that point.
D'Angelo. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm talking about. D'Angelo Williams, Jonathan Stewart was really good. Let's see what else. Yeah, Bo Jackson, Marcus Allen. Way too young for those. Too young. Jim Brown, Bobby Mitchell for the Browns. I think it's supposed to be really good, but
They
have an argument. They have an argument.
Well, okay, so Gibbs has 12 total touchdowns, and Montgomery has 12 total touchdowns. Montgomery's are all rushing, and Gibbs has 10 rushing and 2 receiving touchdowns.
No, yeah,
Like,
but the thing that's good about them is that they each. So Gibbs is considered really fast, and Montgomery's considered a power rusher, but they have skills that the others have. So it's not like they're one trick running backs.
yeah.
They just
It's not
specialize
like
in
when you
skill,
have
but they have other skills.
like a James White and a whoever like Patriots would roll out.
LeGarrette Blount. Oh, that's a fun one.
Like that, like Gibbs Gibbs also has some power as well, and Montgomery can catch the ball well. I mean, Montgomery had a handful of receptions last night, so
and Montgomery has a little agility to him. I mean, yeah, they're each probably gonna. Is Montgomery? He needs 229 yards in 4 games.
And Gibbs is only 22. He doesn't turn 23 until next March. Like, and they have Montgomery signed they just signed to extension on the Lions. I don't really think they're going anywhere anytime soon. I am curious what they'll look like if Ben Johnson leaves. I wonder who they have in the ranks that'll take over the OC role. But to me it's Lions, Packers, Eagles. That's probably I'm pretty confident one of those teams. I'd be shocked if any other team from the NFC, was representing that conference in the Super Bowl. I don't really see it going other way.
The last running back tandem to get 1,000 yards each was Brandon Jacobs and Derek Ward with the Giants in 08. 08. It's weird. I think of more Ahmad Bradshaw, but maybe he's
kind of a stockier running back, but he wasn't like a.
But I think of him and Brandon Jacobs. I don't really think of Derek Ward.
Yeah, I don't know. I think given you're listening to these guys like Marcus Allen and Bo Jackson, probably clearly better. But like just reading those, like where would you have Gibbs and Montgomery ranked? Just if you had to say on top of your head.
I mean, are they? Marcus Allen is like one of the best.
No, Marcus Allen, Bo Jackson. Yeah, they're definitely behind those two. Or that.
I don't know. I'd have to really think it through.
I think they're better than Brandon Jacobs and Ahmad Bradshaw. I would take them over.
Yeah, they probably are.
They are very similar to Mark Ingram and Kamara.
I really
that's like a very.
Don't forget Jamal Charles, Thomas Jones. Don't forget that. Oh, Jamal Charles is so good.
Yeah, Jamal Charles. Thomas Jones was all right. I remember when the Chiefs signed Thomas Jones, and like everybody's like, "Oh, this guy." And I don't think he really did that much.
Well, let's look at his stats. I thought he had a good first year with the Chiefs.
Maybe the first year.
He had 896 yards and 6 touchdowns with 20 receptions. He did. How many yards carry? Oh, yeah, the yards per carry was not good. It's 3.7. And then his second year, he only played 8 games, and it was even worse.
Yeah. But, and I know Chiefs also had Peyton Hillis one year, but he was bad at that point.
Well, yeah, then it's like the argument of, like, who's the best running back ever? But it's probably the Browns with Jim Brown and who he had, and because Jim Brown's the GOAT. Or, Jamal Charles is amazing, or I guess Adrian Peterson never had anyone, or Barry Sanders never had anyone, or Emmitt Smith. But it's up there. It's definitely up there.
Yeah. Anything else from this game? I'm looking forward to this weekend as well. There's a lot of good games this weekend as well. I think there are some key injuries on the injury report. We won't get into those, but it seems like this week there's a lot of injuries across the league. Just question marks of who's going to be playing all that. So
big fantasy week. Logan and I are each we're trying to get buys in all 3 weeks, but I may need him to lose to get a buy.
Or we both win and the top 2 teams just lose.
Yeah, but then I gotta outscore the number 1 team by 25, and that's too much work. You can just lose. You can lose.
Well, my sneaky pickup of Braylon Allen's gonna hopefully say I had to face Josh Jacobs last night. It was not a fun experience at all. It was not fun. And Jameson Williams was also pretty solid last night.
You took McCormick from me. I'd probably start McCormick if I had him. I can't believe I didn't pick him up.
The Raiders running back situation kind of scares me. Like, I don't know. I think I'll probably start Braylon Allen just because he may be the only. I'm not like starting a running back on the Jets still scares me, but I think he's gonna get most of the work. And I know they have Isaiah Davis, but I think Braylon Allen should get the bulk of the work there. And Breece Hall's doubtful, and I think Breece Hall may be shut down for the year too. So.
Yeah, who knows? The Jets are a mess.
Yeah. Well, that'll do it for our Thursday Night Football recap. Hopefully this week is a repeat of last week. Last week was a really good week of football. Hopefully we get more good NFL action this week. A lot of games with playoff implications. So we'll be back next week with the recap of the upcoming week 14. And hopefully I'm staying in a bye week in all 3 leagues that we're in. I think 2 leagues will definitely have buys, but I'm hoping for all 3 leagues. So I guess chill next week and watch football and try to hit some bets. But until then, we'll see you guys.
Peace.